Gentlemen, start your engines. The War with the Maid engine.
Vroom vroom.
It's purring away. Oh. Well, here we are. Engines are a go. They're fueled up. And they are raring straight into Upstage 3.
Yeah.
Because that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are in Upstage 3. This is the final upstage of turn one. We're here.
Of the scenario.
of the practice run. This is War with a Mate. It's the only podcast in the world covering a playthrough of SPI's The Campaign for North Africa with me, James.
And me, Andy.
And it's just the two of us.
Foolishly.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us.
No.
That's why you meant to say you and I.
I know.
Right. Do you know the song?
Of course.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Featuring
Featuring Bill Withers, I found out recently. What? Bill Withers. Who I thought was one of the answers in the pub quiz I attended last night.
Was it not?
It wasn't, no. Can't remember who it was now. Marvin Gaye. It was Marvin Gaye.
I mean, good guy.
I
don't know if he's a good guy. Good musician.
Yeah, I thought... I made a mistake because I thought that Bill Withers had a goatee. Turns out he does not have a goatee. Marvin Gaye does have a goatee.
Yeah.
Or at least did have a goatee at some stage.
Wrote What's Going On, I think.
Yeah.
Sexual healing.
And on that note, not the sexual healing bit, but what is going on, Andy? What happened today?
Well, we did some trucking.
We did. The lifeblood of the campaign for North Africa.
Yes.
And how do you feel it went?
Slow, turgid, boring lifeblood.
It is. It's like if you had really clogged arteries and that blood was just thumping away, trying to push past all of the fat and cholesterol.
Except instead of a bad diet, it's just a bad brain that's causing these blockages.
It is, because once again we were stood around the board today just waxing over the idea of maybe selling the game, getting back to a normal life.
It came up.
Remember how life was before this, Andy?
Yeah, I had an extra day a week to do nothing.
I know, it was beautiful. I had an extra 2 days, because I have to edit this stupid bloody thing.
Oh, well, also uploading it really ruins my day as well.
Oh yeah, clicking that button after I send the file over must be a real arduous task.
Sometimes I can't be bothered.
I actually edited the last episode in record timing, you know. Which is why it sounds so bad.
Email in if it sounds bad.
No, don't. Well, if they do, I'm going to block your access to the inbox, so it's fine. But back to it. The trucks. So we moved around our truck convoys, which was the conclusion of this upstage. We didn't have anything else to do, did we? We started with trucks.
Yeah, we finished the land combat.
I did my last little bit of breakdown, which was figuring out that they didn't have any breakdown to factor in because it was one of the units that barely moved. So yes, it was all trucks today. Well, it started all trucks. We broke into Upstage 3, which was fantastic, and really feels like a big win.
Yeah, that end of the turn's rumbling up.
It is. I can see it.
Excited about that.
I can see it. It's like bright light in the horizon. Yeah. Oh wait, that's your lamp just shining right in my bloody eyes.
Oh well.
Should have pointed that away.
Too late now.
Now I can't make eye contact with you for the whole thing.
That's fine. I didn't want to.
That's the most romantic part of the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh.
I like the pop guards to hide your face.
How about this?
Thank you. That's much better.
Yeah.
No, I can still see your eyes.
The whites of my eyes.
No. This isn't a good bit for an audio medium.
What, me bobbing my head up and down behind the pop guard?
Yeah. But yeah, I had most of my trucks just heading down road to the front. One of them started heading back. And one of them gave some supplies to the 7th. And then, because they're in the middle of no man's land, attached. And that was it for my trucks.
Yeah, your trucks were actually fine. You didn't really have a whole lot of drama.
Had some... Oh, I rolled a 66, so the worst possible result on one of them.
Oh, sorry, you did 50% of your light trucks?
On one of them, yeah, which only turned out to be 5, I think, for that number.
Yeah, light trucks have a higher chance of breaking down because you get breakdown points for every hex you drive over. But for light trucks, they add an additional breakdown point for every hex they've crossed, regardless of the terrain. So you end up with like another maybe 15 breakdown points, which can push it into a different column of the table so they can become more likely to break down.
Yeah, definitely.
And for you, getting a 66 is the worst thing to get on those tables.
Yeah, because it should have been fairly uneventful. I think I needed there was a 50% chance of not having any.
And instead you lost 50%
Yeah.
of your trucks.
Speaking of losing trucks, how did it go for you?
Completely fine. Didn't lose anything.
Okay, so we're lying now.
Yeah, yeah, they wouldn't know unless you told them.
Yeah, but the podcast is about telling them what happened.
Yeah. I guess in the interest of that, I lost quite a few trucks.
And got quite angry.
I wouldn't say angry.
I'd say it was sort of episode 13 level anger.
Well, I mean...
It was early day anger.
All right, yeah. So I did break the New Year's resolution slightly today. I did have a bit of a breakdown, both in and out of game. So I rolled on my table, and I got a 66, right after you did. And then I got another bad roll, which was just on the threshold. It was 1 point into 33% loss of trucks,
Yeah.
which I wasn't happy about. And then I lost. Then I lost some more trucks, to the point where it actually dissuaded me from moving one of my convoys. Some of my men might actually starve based on my spite, because I got so concerned about how many trucks I was losing. Because, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, I have really made a mistake by having so many convoys. I've got I had 15 convoys at the start of today, at the start of the whole scenario, to be fair, and you only have 4 or 5.
4. I now have 3,
Yeah.
which is a bad idea.
So I went far too small scale with my trucks, which mean when they break down, it's not worth sending out recovery units to pick them up, because there's more likelihood of the recovery units breaking down than it is to actually get these trucks. I'll lose more men out in the desert finding these trucks than I will actually regain.
The desert always wins.
The desert does. It's it's. I see why they built Vegas in a desert now.
No escape.
There's no escape. You're already broken down.
Yeah.
So I did lose quite a few trucks with very high rolls, and then I decided to keep some of them put, because what I'm going to do is amalgamate those trucks into other convoys, and I'm going to create a few big convoys. I'm aiming to have about 7 convoys by the end of next turn.
That seems like a pretty reasonable number.
Yeah, and I think on the back of that, it means I've got 7 convoys to play out the final 4 turns, which means supplies should be flowing. However, it does come at quite a cost, because I know for a fact next turn, when it starts up, because the end of this op stage is not going to remedy it, the start of next turn, when we do stored distribution, some of my men will be hungry.
Oh, so attrition will start.
Yes.
Ooh.
What I'm going to try and do is distribute it in such a way that the ones who are already hungry don't get hungrier, which shouldn't be too difficult to work. But I am going to have to... Well, the garrisons are fine, because they're in areas where they don't need to worry about it too much. They have enough. But yes, when it comes to some of my men, I need to be careful who's not eating, because some of them are already hungry.
I'm fairly good for stores and stuff currently.
I don't get how.
Well, it got pretty... I was going to be a turn away, but in the first op stage, I kind of evenly gave stuff back, which means the stores are all up. But I think I might go to doing stores once per turn at the end rather than the start.
Well, that's what I'm going to try and work on here. I'm going to try and make sure that I can drop off the stores where they need to be, with the hopes that when I get my bigger convoys next turn, then it will amalgamate a little bit more. So, with that being the case, it's a big game of chess going on here. I'm going to have to sacrifice some pawns. By pawns, I mean maybe full divisions, and it means that overall things will work out for the better.
I mean, you hope so for you.
But I did get a little bit peeved with the results on the table. But then, a twist of fate, as the trucks came to a conclusion and we'd finished moving them around, we then moved on to last thing to mention about my trucks, I guess, before we move on, is that my truck convoy from Tripoli has finally arrived on the game map.
Yes.
They finally arrived at the port, Nephilia. They're finally there, which means that they are going to be moving eastward, and mostly along roads
To
Benghazi, and they have a big capacity for supplies. They're carrying a lot of stuff, so probably shouldn't advertise that to you. But
Here come the bombers.
yep, thought so. But yeah, that's going to be a big boon. It really increases the amount of trucks. It's a convoy of the size that I want my other ones to be in the end. So I'm going to use that as a bit of a litmus test to see how well that kind of thing works.
They just all break.
Well, they're on roads, so they shouldn't, because roads mitigate all breakdown costs.
It still happens somehow.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that pans out. But yes, after that, we moved on to the start of Op Stage 3, which is water distribution, which we'll be doing during the week because it doesn't affect the next part of the game.
Yes, so we've decided, because it's pure bookkeeping, we can do it whenever, move through the sort of construction training, attach stuff, and jump into air, which we started planning this session. Didn't do any air stuff, though. But I think going forwards, we're going to start offloading some of the
mundane,
like percentage-based, like no decision, just like remove this
yeah,
type stuff out of our like limited playtime.
Yeah, we've done it twice now, water distribution, and the second time was a lot faster. Yeah. So this time round, I think it's going to be very easy to do at home. We can just do it independently, and then it means we're not cutting into playtime, as you said, so we can then get straight on with air missions as soon as we've finished the prior op stage. And as long as we get the water stuff done by the time the air stuff wraps up, then it's fine, and it won't have any impact on the game. So
also, I guess if we run into something where it might matter, it's very quick to do it for one thing that it is relative, because it's quick individually. It's the fact you're doing it to like 30 or 50 things.
Yes, yeah.
So I guess that's kind of us. We're now assigning us not at the game table now has the role of logistics commander, I think.
Yes. Yeah, when we're at home, we're logistics commanders.
Yeah.
Because that handles the naval stuff and the supply distribution.
Yeah.
So that's what that would be.
The sort of like plan ahead stuff.
Which, yeah, we can do at home, which is planning ahead.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to split our personalities even further, and we're going to have to take on individual roles depending on where we are.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, more damaging to our psyche than it needs to be.
Oh, yeah, and it's eating into more of the week.
That's another thing, yeah. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I might just do that at work.
Yeah.
On my lunch, of course.
Of course.
Just in case any important people are listening from work. And everyone listens to this that I know personally. Everybody in the
Hello,
world.
people from James's work.
Hello, people from my work. People from work. So, yeah, we've had a hell of a little delve. I've got my air missions planned in essence.
Same.
And I think I know what you're going to do.
I think you do as well. I think there's really not a lot of decisions for me to make. I'm in a very, very precarious position. The fact you can pick initiative, which gives you essentially 2 op stages back to back.
Yep.
That threw me. I didn't take that into account in planning. I was like, well, you can move like this far. And then it's like, oh no, all of those were double them. Yeah.
Well, that's it, because I opened up this op stage by dropping the bombshell on Andy that he won't be going first this time. And for the first time in this playthrough so far, I'm going first.
Yes.
I'm using that to try and really, really harangue you a little bit, because so anybody who follows the Instagram, I've put a picture up last episode of I think it was last episode, it would have been, yeah, which shows the precarious position that we found ourselves in with the Black Shirts, the Milady Division, as well as the 3rd Coldstream, Coldstream Guards aren't involved at all, sorry.
No,
it's the 7th Armoured Division.
North. It's the 7th Armoured Division. And then various
reinforcements.
Infantry. Oh, that's another thing. During the assignment section of the organisation phase, the 2nd Rifle Battalion, who were originally running off on their own, are now reattached to the 7th. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which means I don't need to less worried about the sort of combined arm rules kicking in on that, which is the big problem they've had.
Yes, you've mitigated that quite a bit, which is a smart move. You've also assigned some trucks to them, I noticed.
Yeah, that's good. That's a bit of a stopgap. They needed some supplies. The trucks didn't have enough movement to get back.
I see.
I think those units are going to be moving around, maybe doing some retreating, which would just leave the trucks exposed. So I figured this way, the trucks will at least move with the division. So, yeah, I'm not losing a quarter of my trucks, which is quite likely.
Yeah, because I've got you boxed in, and in this picture that we put up on the Instagram last week, it shows the current layout around Fort Magdalena, which is the Maletti Division and the 1st Blackshirts, and they are on one side of Fort Magdalena. They're on the west, and then your guys are to the east. Yeah. And then a little further to the east are the 4th Blackshirts.
Yes, they've dropped in behind. They're sort of threatening the rear of the 7th and also badly placed supply dump on my part that may or may not be real. Well,
that's it. You get 2 supply dumps. You get 2 to put down at the start. One of them is real, one of them is fake, and I think that is the fake one. And I think this is all a big bait and switch.
Maybe.
But I guess either way, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't help regardless that you are in such a bad position being caught between those two, which is where I think your air missions come in. I suspect that you are going to try and pin one or more of these groups.
I mean, that's a good bet.
Because if you pin them, they're not going to be able to waltz up towards you.
No.
However, Andy, I've been having a look through my refitted planes.
Okay.
And you did, of course, really screw me over by getting rid of the Fort Magdalena airfield, which is a lot of what this conflict is. But it's not the be-all and end-all of my Air Force, I found out.
Oh.
Turns out I do actually have plenty refitted. I still have a formidable force to throw out there.
Where are they?
I'm not going to tell you.
No, I'm just thinking because you said you were going to refit them and fly them back and forth from Magdalena.
Yes.
So I was wondering, I guess don't tell me, obviously. I mean, from most planes can hit the middle map.
Yes.
Unless they're, so yeah.
That's the benefit. My bombers are the ones that are furthest away, airfield-wise. Yeah. But I do have some fighters that are relatively close who can make it to the fray.
Okay.
So I think I'm a little bit more confident after the very end of today's play session where I've looked over what planes I've got in my arsenal, and I do have enough fighters where I'm comfortable I could send them alongside my bombers, and I could still, even if you get through the screen, I think I could still get off a very significant portion of the bombs to the point where what I want them to accomplish, I think can be accomplished. And of course, it all is around the fulcrum that is Fort Magdalena. Yes. That has become really the focal point of turn 1, I think.
Yes, definitely. We're already diverging. I think the actual offensive was up on the coast road for the most part. Mm-hmm. But we've dipped down. I think because you had the plane so forward, it was an enticing target, but I may have got greedy. Maybe take that in 2 free op stages, not a mad dash.
Well, it has made for an interesting situation where now the focal point of the game is Fort Magdalena.
Yeah.
It's not what I expected, but we now have some of our biggest groups in the entirety of the game map that are all focused around there.
Yeah.
And we've kind of got ourselves at not so much it could be a stalemate, because last turn we held each other off. You retreated, knowing full well that I'd committed a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really move any further forward without causing real detriment to my men. And now I think it's really going to come down to air support, because I think we're both hinging on trying to disrupt the other person, whether it's through pinning them, maybe it'll affect supply lines. There could be a whole number of things that we're going to do to try and stop each other from operating the way we want to. But that's part of why I wanted initiative this time round, so that whatever happens with the air combat and the air missions,
you can react to it first.
Exactly. Which, as the aggressor in this situation, I need to. Yeah. Because if I let you get the jump on me here, you're going to bolt. You are going to be straight out of there. I do not think you would stand there and hold that fight unless you had amazing success with your bombing run. I think otherwise you're likely going to run and try and get to a more fortifiable position. Because where you are, yes, you're caught between 3 divisions, which is already bad, but I have more divisions nearby.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to stick around.
I guess we'll find out.
Because the 7th Armoured Division, from what I understand of your speakings of them, they're fairly strong. So without them, I feel like you really would be losing a decent chunk of your force.
Yeah, I've got 2 other divisions very close by.
Which I am keeping an eye on, because I have noticed they're still sticking around just towards the northeast of Magdalena, up along the coastline. So I'm conscious of that. I am. Don't think they've eluded me or my wisdom. So, Op Stage 3, we're in it. How do you feel?
All right. Enjoying the game. Now the thing is a bad game situation, not the game being bad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the logistics of the game have started to fall away. Like today, when I was getting a little bit aggro with the game, it wasn't that I didn't understand the game. It was that I understand the game perfectly, which is why I can be upset at the result. Because now I know losing 50% of my trucks in a convoy, it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Back in, the first op stage, for me, that would have been a little bit frustrating, but I don't think I would have felt the impact as much. But
no,
now,
it would have just been like, we rolled high on this table. It's clearly a bad result. But now when you're like, well, now I have to choose who to feed. It's a kind of...
I know what that translates to now.
Yeah.
And it's not even who to feed. Realistically for me, while that is a big issue, I can lose a few toe points of men from certain groups. Yeah. What I can't afford is to not arm my men.
No, because ammo is the biggie.
Yeah, I feel like we've done something wrong with the ammo, because I feel like we're maybe both on the same page, where ammo has become a lot sparser. Scarcer, yeah. Scarcer.
Yeah.
There's less ammo than I would like there to be. So I'm concerned about that. So every truck that I lose, I'm thinking, right, that's less ammo I can get at the front lines.
Yes. Yeah, I've noticed that as well, but I think I've got a solution for that.
Well, when it comes down to it, we'll see how that fight pans out. But I think next op stage, we're going to have... I think it's going to be the big deciding conflict of Fort Magdalena. I think it either makes or breaks it. It either becomes a full-on engagement going forward, or you manage to slink away.
Yeah, I think it'll set the tone. It'll set the momentum for probably the whole scenario, I'm guessing.
I think so. I think this really could be the turning point for one side or the other. Because if you've taken out my Air Force, but I clear out these units that you've got, it sort of matches out a little bit. It becomes a bit more balanced.
Yes, if I'd got the Air Force and got out,
it would be very successful.
An unequivocal win. If I'm losing a division, it's not at all. It's quite bad, actually.
I mean, yeah, then you're losing your queen to take out a knight.
Yeah.
It's not really worth the exchange at that point.
Although we do have arrivals. I've got my first arrivals in this op stage.
I need to check, actually. I haven't checked to see if I've got any reinforcements coming in. That's an important one.
I've got the Polish battalion.
Yes.
So, looking at the stats, they don't seem anything particularly remarkable, but it is a well-rounded gun, armor, infantry sort of blob. They'll be good to have.
Well, yeah, you seem to have a lot of these smaller groups that are amalgamating with the bigger units and just sitting around as reinforcements, which is, yeah, that's a good thing to have, because I don't have that. I've committed so much to just, I've got the black shirts, or I've got my battalions that are all affixed to other divisions. I don't really have many groups that are small and splintered off.
Yeah.
Save for the Saharan detachment.
Yes, they have been building steam down at the bottom of the map.
They are just 2 hexes away from Siwa, which is your airfield with an SGSU and no reinforcements.
No, the Siwa is done. You can have it.
I don't think you have a choice, Andy.
I've got a plan for the Sahara division.
Do you really?
Yes.
Does it involve the Long Range Desert Group? Nope. In that case, all you can do is bomb them.
No, it's fine.
It's fine?
Yeah, because if they're down there, I don't care. And if they move in a way I don't like, I've got a plan to deal with them.
Well, I guess get that plan at the ready, because they are motorized now.
Yep,
they've got plenty of trucks. They'll be doing all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Are you planning to advance them east?
I think they've got some utility to them. So when it comes to their successful invasion of Siwa next off stage, I'm then going to have to decide where they're going next. I'm excited to see where that goes.
Well, you can have Siwa for now.
I'll have Siwa for the whole game, thank you very much. Because I've got an ace up my sleeve, Andy.
What's that?
I can't quite reveal it. Oh. However, there is a 2-pronged plan.
Is that camels?
It's not camels, but that would be fun.
Okay.
I'd love to use the fucking camels, but I don't know how to use the camels, Andy. You know I don't. None of us do. I've looked at so many people who are, interested in the game, some people who've played the game partially. No one knows what the camels are for.
No. So you got a little two-pronged thing, do you?
I do. The Saharan detachment is not just taking Siwa. They have other things that play into them. And there's also another aspect of my forces that will be maybe aiding them in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how everything plays out, because Magdalena is smack bang in the middle of the game map.
Yeah.
So once that's decided, I have a plan that may or may not be accomplishable.
Well, if you lose that middle bit, they're not an issue.
No.
Because they can't be resupplied.
Yeah, at that point they are.
So they can just enjoy their unlimited supplies at the Oasis and, probably have the best experience of the war.
Well, what they don't need is ammo, because they're just going to waltz into your airfield and win.
They can have that, yeah.
But when it comes to anything after that, then they do need ammunition.
It'd be very funny if I spent all of my bombing points to bomb my own airfield. You can have Fort Magdalena, but I will not yield to the Siwa airfield.
That's to be fair, the Siwa's a win condition. Fort Magdalena isn't.
In a very technical sense of the rules, I think Fort Magdalena, we've made it into a win condition.
It's more a case of someone's going to die at Fort Magdalena.
And then...
Not just the SGSUs, because they're already dead. You've already drew first blood there. Twice. Because we got it wrong at one point, I think.
Oh, no, that was a different one.
Was it? Oh, it was. Sorry,
that was
yes.
the one that was on map C instead of map D, so he was behind enemy lines.
That's right, yes. Well, all in all, I'm enjoying the game. Sometimes I'm hesitant to say it, but when it comes to sessions like today and looking forward to Op Stage 3, I'm actually excited to see how the showdown plays.
I'm excited to see how it plays out. I imagine going to be annoyed over the next few weeks as things don't go my way.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to be insufferable as well.
I'm pretty pessimistic about this.
And I'm such a sore winner as well.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I gloat a lot.
I can see you gloating behind the pop shields.
Well, how about we peel away from ourselves a little bit, and instead we listen out to that good old telegram, and we see what other people are saying. Let's focus on them instead.
Yeah, let's have a little look. I've got one here.
All right, let's hear it.
It's from Neil.
All right.
This is a biggie, but he's providing potentially context for the Heathcliff.
Yeah, well, that's the subject line. Heathcliff comic.
Howdy, y'all. You've once again stumbled into a corner of my niche, useless knowledge. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos, but mostly Heathcliff. Heathcliff actually predates Garfield, but he was the original Orange Tabby, and his original creator, George Gatley, eventually passed control of the strip to his nephew, Peter Gallagher. I wish I'd inherited a comic strip. Would have been nice. The Gatley strips have clear jokes, plots, and are generally understandable. Gallagher's tenure is characterized by seemingly non-sequitur data nonsense, unless you know the sometimes decade-old strip that is being called back to, or if it fits in the seemingly random theme of the week. Our pal Bezos sent you this link to the strip, which you put on the Instagram, didn't you?
I put a picture of the actual comic on, yeah.
Which was in the middle of a beef-themed week.
Great.
Okay. So what does this have to do with your subtle, humble, and brave podcast? Allow me a Pepe Silvio moment here. This is excellent.
This is genuinely impressive.
Yeah. Morocco and Algeria were French colonies and transferred to the Axis forces with the conquest of France. Vichy France did not enjoy strong support within the populace, and the eventual Allied liberators in Operation Torch flipped the French forces to their side after making a high-level deal. There's a very old 18th century French nickname for the English, rosbif or roast beef or beef. I think this is the beef in the comic.
Now, I'd love to know why you think that, but Andy, please continue.
No, I like the link. I also like we used to be beef and now we have gammons. English people are always some form of meat.
Yeah, we are. We're meaty boys.
Yeah. Fez is not only an Ottoman hat, it is also the second largest city of Morocco, which was a French colony. Jeffy B is known for his Amazon empire, grown from shipping books, originally to whatever you want now. You mentioned the email was sent during the trucking episode. There's a detectable link between Amazon shipping and your vulnerable trucks carrying critical supplies. American troops were frequently referred to as doughboys in World War II due to their young age. This could be the children part of the comic, but I'd argue it falls apart as the World War II nickname was GI. So I could imagine a world in which the comic can be constructed to say the liberated North African territories love the British forces and the Allies. I leave you with some gifts. When you join Amazon, you get an email with Jeff Bezos' laugh attached sent to you within your first week. Lord knows who thought this was a good idea.
That's mental, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. Further reading from others confused by Heathcliff, and then he's linked to a Heathcliff of the Week thing. And then finally, since you spared a penny for my thoughts, I thought I'd repay with a stupid visual pun. Heathcliff is the enigma of our generation, and one day we'll crack it. Neil. So, I think that's cleared it up for me.
Yeah.
North Africa loves the beef, which is us.
I gotta say, Neil, I'm suspicious of you. Because that is very well constructed. Now, one of two things has happened here. Either we have actually found a niche of people where we read that out in the podcast, and there's someone who listens to this podcast who really delved into that and thought, I actually know Heathcliff.
This makes sense to me.
And put this together. If that is the case, Neil, this is a stroke of genius, because the way you've broke that down is, at some points, yeah, a little bit tenuous, but God, the way you build it together, the way you justify it, it's sort of beautiful. It's definitely a Pepe Sylvia moment, and you are, I think, maybe a visionary. Now, Neil,
the other alternative is he sent us the first one.
That's my concern. My concern
is bad, Neil. Yeah. Bad, Neil.
Neil, if you've orchestrated this, we're not happy. And the thing is, we've got no way to know, which means we're stuck in a permanent flux of both complete enamorment with what it is that you've done here, or just real frustration at what you're doing here. Just hijacking this thing to, I think, promote Heathcliff. For all I know,
we're Schrodinger's orange tabby cat. We don't know if we're angry or impressed.
It's like Garfield on Sunday evening.
Never collapse.
For all we know, you're Peter Gallagher. You're the new owner of Heathcliff, and this is you decided we're going to hijack War with a Mate as a means to try and promote Heathcliff, because they already talk about stupid shit.
In which case, it worked.
Yeah, it has. It has. This is now. I think we should have clearly a weekly Heathcliff segment where we go over a comic of the week.
I think we cannot do that.
But gotta say, Neil, this has brought some real enjoyment to us. This is, I think, spectacular. And we came across this actually on the way back from our holiday to Budapest. We were stood in the airport back in the UK. We were wait. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was when we were actually over in Budapest.
It was in the Budapest terminal.
It was. That's right. And we were stood around waiting to get our flight, which was delayed. And I found this email that came through at that point, and I was showing Andy it. And to be fair, Andy, I think you were far too exhausted to read through it. But I sat there and read the whole thing, and I was amazed. So I've been excited to read this thing since we've got back. So Neil, whether you are friend or foe in this situation, we're very pleased to hear it, and it's very entertaining. And I'm pretty sure Neil's emailed before.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so thanks for that, Neil. Whether or not you are the culprit, we appreciate it. So, who else we got? We got some more. We got plenty in here. Let's have a little look. How about Richard?
Let's hear what Richard's got to say.
Richard says, "Dear Andy and James, loving your podcast, which I find a refreshing and soothing change from the unhealthy number of political podcasts I consume. Your good humour is grounding and much appreciated." Well, so are your kind words, Richard. Also, we're a little bit political. I think we're
sort of 8 years out of date.
Yeah, we push very hard political agendas a lot.
/ 8 years in the future. It's commentary on World War II or common ground plans for a dystopia.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that a lot of the jokes we make, they're very clearly leveled at political leanings, and we're trying to influence people. But
feel free to Pepe Sylvia them up.
Yeah, let us know what our political thoughts are. That's going to be bad. This game has long fascinated me, but with a busy job and a young family, I will never have the time to play it and must live vicariously through you guys. Well, Richard, I've got a similar situation, but, here I am. Busy job, but I'm playing the damn thing. Buy a copy yourself. Let me know how it goes. Don't actually do that.
No, enjoy your family.
Please enjoy the family. It's worth more. I apologize if you've had this question and I've missed it, but if so, it might be worth revisiting now you're further in. According to Board Game Geek, bloody hell, Board Game Geek, the official recommendation is to play with a team of 5 aside in the following roles: Commander-in-Chief, Logistics Commander, Rear Area Commander, Air Commander, Frontline Commander. And to break that down a little bit, Logistics Commander is in charge of all supplies and naval convoys. Rear Area Commander gets the supplies to the front and is in charge of security, reserves, prisoners, and construction. Air Commander is in charge of all planes and pilots and is responsible for planning all air missions and deployment of air bases. And the Frontline Commander executes all attacks and troop movements on the front line. And of course, the Commander-in-Chief oversees all of this and delegates things to where they need to be to facilitate each of these roles. The idea of anyone committing their life to Logistics Commander for a board game is somewhat amazing, but if you did have a team, would you change these or do they make sense? Incidentally, I was fascinated by James's recent mention of House of Leaves, which by coincidence I have started rereading, hoping the campaign for North Africa does not prove to be your house on Ash Tree Lane. Staying subtle, humble and brave, Rich.
Here's hoping.
Well, to touch on that last point first, Rich, I believe it already has. I wish when I opened up the campaign for North Africa, there was a little booklet at the front that opened with "This is not for you" as a bit of a warning. However, it didn't. So
the rule book pretty clearly says that to everyone.
That's a good point, actually. So yes, whether I'm Zampano or Johnny Truant or maybe Navidson himself, this is unfortunately my house on Ash Tree Lane, and I'm already lost in these corridors, or the deserts of my mind, as I like to call them. That's my 5.5-minute hallway. Everyone who is literate, by the way, and listens to this, read House of Leaves. Amazing book. Absolutely love it. If you want to read a piece of art that is about somebody getting involved in something that is far too complex and labyrinthian in its nature, and it's not War with a Mate, then read that book, because that's the best of it. However, to touch on your actual point, Rich, the rules, we've had a perfect play session to touch on these, I think.
Yeah, we've sort of done them. First off, the thing of anyone committing their life to logistics for the board game is somewhat missed it. That is the most powerful person on the team. By far. Everyone's doing what they might be like thinking it's like, hey, can I have supplies? You need to... No, the logistics commander will essentially be in charge.
Yes, because if their plan fails, then everything else fails. So you will be the favorite at the table. When you're talking to the Commander-in-Chief and everyone's rallying for some, support from the Commander-in-Chief, you will always be the one who's favored.
Yeah.
Because if your plan fails, then everything else is done.
Also, you can be like, oh, Air Commander, you're being a bit of a dick. Oh, no. No fuel showed up at any of the airports.
Well, that's another fun thing, because that's why I would enjoy playing with 5 players, because of the red tape.
Yes.
I think the bureaucracy of this game would be absolutely phenomenal. I think we'd get into some real hijinks, really pissing off other people.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual rules, I think they're spot on.
I think so, yeah.
The recommendations come from the game book itself, and it makes perfect sense, because the rules... I mean, we did trucking today, and if we had somebody who was specifically assigned to that, and then we had somebody who was the air commander, it means that we would have went seamlessly from one bit to another, and the air mission would already be in progress.
Well, it would be logistics commander does the trucking phase, rear area commander handles organization phase.
Yes.
Air commander does that, and then frontline commander does the moving around stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you would essentially have one area with a few minor other things, but each guy would essentially have one block of the turn and could spend the rest of the op stage getting ready for the next op stage.
Yes, which means it would be seamless, and there wouldn't be moments of pause or hesitation where you're trying to figure out what to do. You'd have the plan in mind, you just need to have everything work in tandem and then adapt to the changing plan. Whereas for us, we're having to do everything, which means that there's some hurdles to overcome where the momentum slows down a little bit as we're trying to figure out how we're going to tackle each stage of the game, and then also how that affects our plan overall. And without there being any delegation or hierarchy, it means that it's all really just wrestling with your own decisions. There's no council. You're not working in concert with other people's ideas. It is just you. So in terms of if we were to have other players, I would definitely go with this structure.
I would, and then you'd probably, if you had less, you'd be like if you had 2, you'd have frontline and air command to be separate, logistics and rear, and then you'd pace them. So
Yes.
I think you could work with 2 and keep those roles and assign 2 roles to each.
Yes, I think I would probably break them up, having the air commander and the frontline commander as one. So essentially somebody who navigates all of the
I think that
combat aspects.
that probably is the way to go, but it's putting a lot of the fun stuff for one player.
It is. That's the issue. You need to have a group of friends where someone is fine doing the book work
Yes.
and not really get as involved with the
think
combat.
that is a big part if you were playing with less players, is who likes, or not necessarily likes, but who's fine with bookkeeping,
Yes.
who's like struggles with it or isn't like precise, I guess. Or
You need friends that are bespoke to the game being set up the way it is. So I would say, yeah, spot on. I wouldn't change that one bit. So you've clearly done your reading there, Rich. So not just this, but House of Leaves as well. So congrats. Good choice. Good taste. So between that and War with a Mate, you're hitting it spot on. And I think, yeah, I'd go with that. So thank you for the email, Richard.
thanks for getting in touch.
Yeah, we've got plenty more emails in that inbox. We'll get to all of them. So if anyone else wants to fire anything over our way, it's info@warwithamate.co.uk.
And they can get you on Instagram at @warwithamate.
Yeah, just War with a Mate is the Instagram. And we also have the website, which is warwithamate.co.uk.
I would say if you're going to the website to use the form, email probably. I do try to check the form, but we check the email more regularly.
Yes.
So that's probably the primary is Instagram or email.
Yes, and we will read everything at some point. So if you send something over, unless it's something that isn't
to be read, yeah.
Yes, unless it's. We've had some people ask questions about the game, for example, where it's quite granular,
technical.
Yes, and it doesn't seem to be one that's meant to be read. It's just curiosity. So if you do have anything that you want to send over about the game or anything else that's not necessarily to be read, we'll also happily answer it. So fire that on over as well. But moving away from that, we've touched on our lives. We've touched on the lives of the listeners. Now I think it's time to touch on the lives of those in the past, those that lived, breathed, and bled campaign in North Africa.
Yeah, we're back with the Maori.
Of course we are. The one, the only, the 28th.
Yes. Quote about them to kick it off, of course.
Naturally.
No infantry had a more distinguished record or saw more fighting or, alas, had such heavy casualty as the Maori Battalion. That's by Bernard Freyberg. Quite an interesting guy in his own right, and commander of the New Zealand forces during the war.
Okay, so he probably knows what he's talking about then.
Yes, absolutely. So when we last left them, they'd just fought the Battle of Crete.
They had.
Their bayonet charge on 42nd Street. And they'd been evacuated to Egypt, where they spent several months reorganizing, training, getting familiar with the desert, and also coming back up to strength because they lost sort of 350 of their 750 men, maybe more, on Crete. So there was quite a period of getting back up to full strength and training. During that time, they did carry out a ceremonial parade for King George VI and the Queen, known as the Queen Mother. But
yes, yeah.
and there's a very cool picture taken during that of them doing the haka. I'll send you, maybe for the Instagram.
Yes, I'll pop that up, yeah.
They also, on the 5th of August that year, they had the divisional sports games held at the King Farouk Stadium.
Okay.
I think they did fairly well. I think they won the tug of war.
I can imagine that, yeah.
They got spent a bit of time around the Suez Canal. They were sent there. British forces and the Commonwealth were worried about an invasion through the Soviet Union down into the Panama Canal and stuff.
Yeah.
By the Germans, so they got sent up there, but that never materialized, so they got sent back. about a year. About a year in total of them being out of the action, as it were.
Okay, yeah.
Before they head back to Egypt, receive orders to link up with the rest of the New Zealand division, assembling near Mersa Matruh.
Ah, I know it well.
Yeah, it comes up. And then headed west to the Libyan-Egyptian border, where their first task was to capture a seaside town called Sollum. They did this on the 23rd of November, 1941. Oh, this will be 1940, I think. But they took the Italian garrison with only a few casualties. Follow-up artillery did kill 18 of them and wound 33, including their commanding officer, George Dittmer. I remember him from organising the charge at 42nd Street.
I do, so he's dead.
Yes, he unfortunately dies here.
Ah, shit. I liked him.
Yeah. As well as 2 other company commanders of theirs.
Okay, so they're starting to lose guys now.
Yes. They did take 247 Italian prisoners in return. Because something you'll notice about them is they take a lot of losses because they're always in the action.
Yeah.
But in each engagement, the odds are definitely 30 to 1 or whatever.
Yeah, the exchange. It
is,
should be the case that they're getting wiped out every single time.
Yeah.
But instead, they're taking huge attrition on the enemy side.
Yeah. That's a good chance to just to give a scale of the Maori involvement in the war. I'll jump ahead a bit, but throughout the war, 15,744 Maori volunteered for the armed forces, both at home and abroad. The total Maori population was under 100,000. So,
wow.
15% of them volunteered. More than 3,600 men, all volunteers, served with the Maori battalion. The total time it was in action, they suffered 2,500 casualties, which when you take the 100,000 and then you half it for men, it's a staggering percentage of them who are both volunteering and taking, but also killed, because it'll be 5% of all Maori men almost.
What, killed?
Yeah. Well,
Bloody hell.
2,500 casualties. So, not killed, casualties.
Yeah.
But of about 50,000.
Wow.
So it's a huge involvement rate and huge losses they took.
Yeah, that is astounding.
Yeah.
That's crazy numbers.
They take the town and they do hold it. They're fighting every day here. They ambush a German column and then attack a column of tanks and motorized infantry during this time. That goes well. But on the 3rd of December, I'm just going to jump into their battalion diary again to just give an outline of one somewhat standard day.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Of their having at the time. So they capture, the first thing in the diary is at midnight, they captured some vehicles on a night raid.
In the middle of the night, why not?
They head back, they go on patrol at 9 a.m. They see enemies at 10:30 and retreat to defensive positions. The enemy makes contact at 11 a.m. They're being shelled and machine gunned up until 4 o'clock when there's a slight lull. At that point, their new commander, who goes by the name Captain Love, excellent.
Brilliant. Love it.
There's a little bit of a repeat here because during this lull, he goes and talks to the other commanders around him.
Oh, okay. I know what he's doing.
What do you think they're doing next?
I think they're putting together more people, and I think they're going to go for a charge.
That's right. At 1700 hours, they fix bayonets.
Of course they do.
And supported by mortars, machine guns, and anti-tank guns, they charge. The attack is a complete success, and they clean up the final pockets of enemy resistance. They take 6 officers prisoner, 140 other prisoners, as well as killing 240 Germans to get them to start surrendering. At the cost of 1 killed, 5 wounded.
Right, no, I don't understand how that works logistically.
This was part of a wider battle. There were other units there, but they charged in and broke one of the flanks of the enemy.
That is just insane.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just went for this, I mean, to be fair, reliable plan of just, well, what if we just put knives on our guns and run?
Well, there was this thing, because the landscape undulated, but it looked flat. They got really close before the charge. They'd basically charged out of the ditch at the side of the road from very close. But then that day in their battalion diary ends with 2100 hours. First issue of Rum to the Troops. Battalion resting until time of departure. Has also been a great day. That's in the battalion diary.
It has also been a great day.
And that's a fairly typical, like, they're fighting constantly. They're losing, like, tiny numbers compared to what the damage they're doing, but it is, like, every day. So, in December, a place called Gazala, they also, they capture over 1,000 prisoners, which, again, to remind you, at its full strength, this unit is 750 people.
So they're capturing more than their own unit size.
Yeah, and they're not at full strength.
Right, yeah, so they're capturing probably around twice the number of men that they actually have.
Yeah. But the Italians apparently actually appreciated the being captured by the Maori, despite the ferocity in battle. They treat prisoners very well. One of their padres of their unit says, "These boys treat their prisoners well. They give them cigarettes and food, just as the word says. If your enemy is hungry, feed them. If they thirst, give them a drink." So they're like honourable off the battlefield. But
yeah, on the battlefield, they will run at you. To be fair, it's not even dishonourable on the battlefield.
It's very much within the rules of engagement. It's just not expected.
If anything, maybe it's more honourable to be like, you know what, yes, you can shoot at us. We're just going to run at you with knives on our guns. And if you can't handle that, we'll take you prisoner. You have some tabs, and we see out the rest of the war.
Yeah. And then they got a series of like rules that they needed to carry out, came through on the 3rd of December. Mm-hmm. Some of them about treating prisoners of wars correctly, always being armed and having your helmet on. And then number 4, rum will be issued at the company commander's discretion, which it's like, we'll trust your judgment for when the rum goes out. And also 10 is enemy clothing will not, in all caps, be worn by the troopers.
Stop dressing up as the enemy.
The lines of communication will not be used for private conversation.
That checks out. That seems fair.
And 11 is companies will notify the HQ whether Private Randall is present within the company.
Sorry?
I couldn't find any information about why this guy's location needed to be updated. I'm not sure if it was a one-off or standing orders.
What? So they've got their own version of the camel rules, where there's just a weird rule somewhere mixed in there.
Yeah, and I'd love to know why he was.
Do we know anything about him?
I'm gonna do more research and try and find out, but currently, I can't find anything as to why this guy deserved a special, shout-out.
His own rule.
Yeah. And it's also, companies will notify if he shows, so he's expected to be roaming.
He'll just pop up occasionally. That's, yeah.
And, that's a snapshot of, one thing, but it's fairly typical loss to casualty ratios against the enemy and just constant fighting. They were the second Allied unit into Libya, I believe.
Oh, wow.
They're very much tip of the spear, yeah. And they were part of a relieving effort at El Alamein that went round the bottom of his lines, round led by the long-range desert group, that swung that battle as well.
Oh, fuck me. Can you imagine putting them in the long-range desert group?
Oh, just load these guys. Just a car appearing out of the 4th dimension and then a bayonet charge when you're 1,000 kilometers behind the front line.
They just appear out of nowhere and they're just running at you with knives. It's over. It's over. There's no way you can counter that. Just the fear itself. You'd shit your pants. These guys are just becoming cartoonishly effective.
Yeah, I can now fully... there's no hyperbole to Rommel going, if you gave me these guys, I'd take over the world.
I mean, because of the nature of what the Axis forces were trying to do compared to the Commonwealth forces. If they were used as a conquest tool, then I can see them doing some real fucking damage.
Well, Blitzkrieg is all about hitting fast, putting force into a point and tip of the spear. Imagine if the tip of that spear is the 28th Maori.
What? It's the bayonets
Yeah.
is the tip. These guys are fantastic, and they're sizing up to maybe be as scary, if not scarier, than the long-range desert group in certain aspects.
I think it's the long-range desert group are always scary if you're like in North Africa.
They could be anywhere.
They could be anywhere. That's why they're scary. I feel like you know where the Maori are because
Yeah,
it's
because
where people
they-
are running away from, or you sent 1,000 men somewhere and they didn't come back.
But they also scream out, perform a haka, and then run at you. So
Oh yes, also they're doing hackers and war chants while they do this stuff, which must be so scary.
yeah, if you don't know where they are, you've got your eyes closed and your ears plugged.
You've never seen a hacker before.
That's a good point.
Like
Most
you've
people,
not been like, oh, it's that thing from the rugby. It's like, why are those giant men like doing that?
because they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
Or capture us and give us cigarettes because they're actually nice blokes by the sounds of it. Well, scary guys, but fantastic guys. Well, Andy, we've been bewildered, we've been scared, we've been elated, we've been thinking, and now, after all of that, time to take us home.
Time to get confused.
Time for some common ground. And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording it. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, this is an easy one we can both agree on quickly.
Oh, thank God, let's do it.
I think baths should come in more sizes, like more often.
Right. Okay. See, the thing is, I know you like a good bath.
I love a bath.
I haven't had a bath in, it must be north of like 14 years now.
Gotta have a bath occasionally, man.
I do wash. I shower.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, when we lived together, we didn't have hot water for a good, 6-7 month stint?
It was the full time we were there. You're thinking of the first place.
Oh,
the
I am,
second
yes.
place we didn't have it for a year because we didn't want the landlord to come and murder us in our sleep.
Yeah, I already said the address. The first place we lived, that place, the water broke quite late on. But then we moved to our second place, and the landlord was just a freak because he came in. We'd been there, what, like 4 or 5 days?
It was less than a week. It might have been 2 days.
We'd been there very, very short time, and we were asleep. And the layout of the flat is it was a ground floor flat. You'd walk in through the front door, and it had a hallway. To the right was the living room, and to the left was my bedroom. Then further down this hallway to another left, it was your bedroom. And I woke up. I was drifting off to sleep. It was like 11 p.m. And I heard a key in the door. And I was like, I'm sure Andy's in bed, though. What is this? So I went to the front door and opened it. And there's the landlord. And he stood there. And there's somebody else, another man, who stood halfway up the path.
Like in the shadows.
Yeah, just shadowy figure. And I'm like, hello? And the landlord's like, oh, hi. I thought you might need some plates. And I was looking at the guy. He didn't have any plates in his hand.
Neither of them, both their hands were empty.
These guys were just stood there. And I was like, no, we don't need any plates. There's already some here. And we brought some as well. And he was like, oh, okay. Never mind then. And he just walked back up the path. And I'm like, what the fuck? It still boggles me to this day what he was trying to do. Because he had no plates.
No.
And even if he did have plates, even if he had the most fucking beautiful plates in the world, even if he had a collection of Weatherspoons plates with all the floral designs, lovely things, why the fuck is he bringing them at 11 p.m. on like a Tuesday? What's he playing at? And not knocking on the door either, he's just coming in.
I think he must have forgot we were there or something.
I think he might have, maybe thought that we were still moving in and we were still like between places, getting everything set up. And I don't know. Because I'm like, was it something nefarious? Was this guy, was he a bad guy?
Well, I know he was a bad guy.
Well, we do know he's a bad guy.
some conversations I had with him when we moved out.
You had a real bad time with it. The man was unreasonable.
Yeah.
This is the common ground is our landlord was fucking horrible because when we moved out, he just going off a massive tangent here. So when we moved into the place in the main passageway, the main hallway,
a beautiful cream carpet.
yeah, beautiful. Oh, that's another thing. I was talking about the light bulb.
Oh, both the floor and ceiling was fucked.
Top to bottom, he ruined the layout of this place. You walk in through the front door of this flat, and it's a cream carpet. As you can imagine, the thing gets dirty over time. Even if you put down a mat, you've got socks. General wear and tear.
It's a cream carpet.
It gets dirty over time. We're two guys as well. We weren't like, dirty, but we were, messy.
We used the hall.
Yeah, we walked. We used our feet to traverse the land. So over time, this carpet got a little bit dirty. And when we were moving out, he was like, you need this professionally cleaned. And we're like, all right, we got it cleaned. And then he's like, well, this isn't clean enough. We're like, yeah, it's as clean as you're going to get, pal. It's as clean as a cream carpet's going to get after a year of use. And the cream carpet wasn't new either, by the way. So as well as that, you walk in, front door, this passageway, there's a light bulb, no lampshade or anything. It's the most fucking ornate, intricate light bulb you'll ever see.
It was an Edison bulb the size of a basketball hanging down. So it was at head height.
It was enormous. It was fucking huge.
And it didn't light anything.
It didn't. The filament was like so delicately woven throughout the bulb.
Yeah.
And it burnt out very quickly. There was one in every room, apart from the kitchen and bathroom, of the same design. And they burnt out so quick. And then when we were moving out, he was like, well, you need to replace the bulbs. We're like, of course, yeah. We've already replaced the bulbs. We've not been living in total darkness. And he was like, yeah, but you need to replace it with this bulb.
It cost £35.
It was from some specific shop, and they were £35 a piece.
For a light bulb.
And we were like, well, no, we've given you the light. There's light bulbs here.
Yeah.
They were the energy-saving, cost-effective ones that actually light up a room. And we were like, yeah, you've got your light bulbs. And this guy was like, no, you need to buy these ones. Which we didn't. Of course we didn't. That's insane.
Because the light bulbs are the one thing you're responsible for as a tenant. Why would he spend the money on that?
So this guy decided that would be fine to try and get us to do. And he was also trying to say that the toilet seat became loose as we left. This is just a fucking agony aunt session about our landlord. The toilet seat became loose as we were moving out as well. Not broken, just it became loose from the fixture.
Which meant we should pay for a whole new bathroom.
That was his logic.
Yeah.
He said we need to pay for the bathroom, that our whole deposit was going to be taken away so that he could replace this bathroom. And in the end, turns out the guy didn't even register the deposit with the deposit protection scheme. And yes, that's partially on us. We were young, we were naive. We didn't really understand the consequences of this. But it did mean that we lost about £700 because in the end, God knows what happened to that money. Maybe it went on some new fucking plates. Who knows?
He probably lost it as well.
So, to go back to the point, baths. Yes, baths. You love a good bath.
Yeah. Well, everyone, like 99% of bath, it's the equivalent of like a single bed.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
I think you should be able to get like a king-size bath more commonly.
That's way too big.
No, because you see, the thing about a bath...
No, that's
a bath
way too
isn't
big.
to get clean. It's to like have a nice bath in.
I do appreciate that. That's part of why I don't have a bath, really, because if I'm like, I need to get clean, I'll have a shower. I've never really found the catharsis in having a bath. Never really had that personally. I don't know.
Excellent. But you want room to really wallow.
I can see that. I kind of get where you're coming from with that, because if I was into baths, I'd probably want that. If I went to a swimming pool, I wouldn't want like a tiny swimming pool where it's just like a narrow lane I can swim up and down and barely turn around in. I'd want a big one. So I do understand that aspect of it. And I feel like I'm maybe not very well equipped to argue back, because I appreciate where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And
I think it's pretty simple.
I think it is. And we've also just touched on some other stuff that we clearly needed to just get off our chest.
Yeah. He would have made us buy a bigger bath.
He would have. Now, if you're listening right now...
Fuck you, I hate you. The
Andy
only
said it
time
better than
I've
I
been
could.
outwardly angry and yelled at a person probably in the last 5 years is at him.
To be fair, I remember that because you had you were waiting around. I'd left. I got the last of my stuff. You were waiting to hand over the last key, and he made us hand over the key a day early as well.
Yeah, and then he said, "I've got tenants moving in tomorrow. How dare you leave it this dirty?" And one, we had it cleaned, and two, I was just lost it. I was like, "We're doing you a favor. Like, it's illegal for you to move someone in tomorrow. What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yes, we paid rent. We're still on the tenancy agreement. You can't move anyone in, and if you do, you're going to show up at 11 o'clock anyway.
Yeah,
you're going to try and drop off plates.
And then he referred to my mum as my woman.
Oh, that was so
gross.
That was so cringe. Oh, yeah. When your mother showed up to help us move, and he dropped that line.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the context, but it was like ask your woman, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's get a grip.
Not on.
See the context,
Yeah.
and never say that, regardless of the context. No one's your woman. Come on, freak.
Yeah.
Honestly, this guy was just a strange fellow, and I'm glad to be rid of him.
Yes.
Real glad to be rid of him. I've had a few nice landlords since.
Yes.
We've had a few. I was going to get onto the landlords at the next place.
They were fine.
When they thought we took when we moved out. What was it? There was a filter above the stove.
Oh yeah.
So this guy was doing the inspection. It was a couple. The landlords there. It was like a husband and wife, and they thought when they were inspecting.
It was the fume hood above the...
Yes, the fume hood above
They thought we'd taken the air filter, like, which would have required us, like, unscrewing stuff, like, removing it from... It wasn't like a slide out.
Yeah, it was screwed in, and he pulled it apart, and he was like, "You've removed this filter." And I'm like, that's so specific. You've looked for that. You know it's missing. And I can only imagine they're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why he was doing that.
That'll be like... That's the deposit.
It reminds me of that bit in Friends when Joey's fridge breaks, and then Ross shows up, and Joey shoves Ross into the fridge, and then he's like, "Oh, you broke my fridge. You need to pay for a new one." And he's like, "How do you even know it's broken?" It's like, "I know what breaks my fridge." That's what this guy was doing. He's like, "Let me have a quick look around. What's missing?" "You've taken the air filter out." What are you talking about? Of course we haven't done that.
They also were turning the route. Oh yeah, we were moving out, and they were like, "Oh, where are you going?" And you were moving in with someone else, and I was moving in by myself. And they were like, "Oh, you moved in by yourself. Would you be interested in this property that costs literally 10 times more a month?"
It was like a fucking manor
combined. House. I think it was $4,500 a month for like a 17-bedroom like manor.
It was insane, and I was like, I don't know what they must have thought very well of you. They clearly looked at you, and you're like, "Yeah." So this guy James, he's moving in with his girlfriend at the time, and Andy, he's moving into his own place. But there's something about this Andy guy that makes me think he's fucking loaded.
Yeah.
So let's try and
he's
peddle this.
He's clearly rich as fuck.
And they were also trying to find issue with us. So I'm like, well, that's landlords for you, though. I think. Maybe between the baths and the fact that landlords are usually bad, I guess that's a fair common ground.
I mean, I can agree strongly to both of them.
Bigger baths, fewer landlords. How about that? Well,
it's a sign for March.
Well, you know what, everyone? If you're out there and you have a bad landlord, we feel for you. We do. And when it comes to baths, if you can't get a bigger one, I suppose get it. Just make sure you got hot water. And if you don't, remember your landlord does need to fix that. So get onto the landlord or your letting agent or whatever legal body there is to make sure that is the case, because you deserve to be warm.
Plus, if you're leaving a bad place, don't leave an upper decker, but do fill the toilet cistern with chicken bones so they flush their toilet with chicken stock. Just as a fun...
And for the record, we haven't done that. But
we haven't. But
Andy's mind is
talked about that recently with a third friend of ours.
A third friend?
We were going to do it at a hotel.
That's quite a funny plan. Was that when we were on holiday? Why were you going to do that in Budapest?
Because he had 30 chicken wings in a box in his room.
Oh, I forgot that our friend ordered a KFC to the hotel, and it came with, I think, twice as many wings as he ordered.
He got 30, and it came with like 50.
Oh, you would just go back and you would graze on them.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was like, "I'm embarrassed to bring these out to the bin because like the hotel concierge and stuff will see it, and I don't want to leave it in the room. So I just put it in the cistern."
Well, it was, as most hotels where they were like, "Oh, can we help you with your bags?" And I was like, oh, I'm all right, thanks. I was like, I don't want to put this guy out. I was like, no, it's fine. It's my suitcase. I'll carry it up. And then afterwards, when we got up, I was like, oh, was he? I should have, because he would then want a tip.
Yes.
And that's probably what that whole thing was. And instead I was like, no, I'll do it myself.
No, we're self-reliant, mate.
And then they were like, cool, selfish bastards. Well, I think, it goes to show that even people like us can be in the wrong. People who are...
Very occasionally.
People who are heroes.
Yeah.
Well, to all you heroes out there, if you need to get in touch for any reason, if it's to drop a question about the game or Heathcliff or anything else, the email address again is info@warwithamate. Instagram is warwithamate. And you've got warwithamate.co.uk. And I've been James.
I've been Andy. Stay subtle, humble, and brave.
And be careful in the deserts of your mind, because who knows what kind of landlords are lurking around there. But other than that, I guess it's time to say goodnight.
Thanks for listening.
Sleep tight, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.